NFL fans, welcome back to another episode of the J All Day Sports Show. In today's episode, I want to give you guys an early look at the Draft Kings Millionaire Maker. I love doing the Millionaire Maker every week, $20 for a chance to win $1 million. It's absolutely epic. This video is not affiliated with DraftKings at all whatsoever. I just love their platform, and I'm going to build a lineup for you guys that I think has serious potential in Week 3. Make sure you stick around. All right, NFL fans, what I like to do first is always pick my defense. And my Philadelphia Eagles had a really tough time with a pretty mediocre Atlanta Falcons defense this week, right? No A.J. Brown again, so I think the Saints for $2,600 is an absolute steal. Jalen Hurts throws a lot of interceptions, and if he's going to be running the ball, he has potential to fumble, scoop, and score for the Saints. I think interceptions, fumbles are definitely in play, a lot of sacks. I just really think at $2,600, the Eagles' offense without A.J. Brown is not very good, as we saw last week with the Falcons game, right? After I pick my defense, I always want to find a quarterback with some value. And I love Derek Carr. He's averaged 22 fantasy points per game, 21 and 22 points. I don't like paying up for quarterbacks, so I like Derek Carr. And I want to pair him with somebody on his team, right? I don't know if I want to go Olave, but I think another guy, Rashid Shaheed, for $5,300. I mean, you're getting really good value, a 16-point game and a 20-point game. And the Philadelphia Eagles secondary is absolute booty cheeks. They are horrible. They might have the worst defense in the NFL right now. That's why I love pairing Derek Carr with Rashid Shaheed. Next, I want to pick a tight end. It's been pretty much a dumpster fire with tight ends. No one is bringing back great value, right? So I want to pay up at the tight end position, and I'm paying up for Brock Bowers. 2 games, 17 targets, almost 12 fantasy points in week 1, almost 19 fantasy points last week. He's going to be relied on by Gardner Minshew a lot in this offense, and he's really good yard after catch. He's going to get into the end zone sooner or later, and I think it's this week against Carolina. I love Brock Bowers in this spot. Next up, we're going to take some running backs, right? The guys I really like this week, one of them being Josh Jacobs versus Tennessee. Josh Jacobs is going to be heavily relied on in this offense without Jordan Love and Malik Willis being the quarterback now. I think he's going to consistently get, serious attempts, 32 attempts, 32 touches. I think it's going to be that way, 25 plus this week. I love that spot for him. Another spot I really like is Jordan Mason versus the Rams. The Rams are extremely banged up. 2 20-point weeks. I love Jordan Mason. I think he absolutely balls out. And then another guy, since Deebo Samuel is hurt, right? So I want to find some value. And there's some value with Juwan Jennings, right? I think he hasn't had great weeks, right, yet. 5.7 and 11.4. But no Deebo Samuel, no Christian McCaffrey. I think Juwan Jennings is going to be more relied on this week than in previous weeks. And for $4,100, I think he's a good guy to take a flyer on this week. The next guy I want to pick is the focal point of his offense. Just look at last week, 18 targets, 10 receptions, 127 yards. He left some meat on the bone too at 30-point week. I'm going Malik Neighbors all day. That gives us $7,500 with the flex spot. So where do we go from here? With $7,500, we have some serious openings. Marvin Harrison Jr., Jonathan Taylor, Nico Collins had an absolute beast mode week last week. 30 fantasy points. We could go Nico Collins versus Minnesota, but Minnesota's defense has been pretty good so far. So you know what? I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Their defense can't tackle. Whether he's running the ball, they can't stop the run at all whatsoever. And if they dump it off into the flat, they're not going to be able to tackle him, man. Look at this lineup. I think we absolutely killed this week. I honestly think this is the best lineup I have ever put out for you guys. I'm entering this lineup. So you can enter it too if you want, or make little tiny adjustments here and there. But honestly, guys, Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Mason, Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Jennings, Neighbors, Bowers, Kamara, and the Saints defense. I think we're on to something here. I'm more confident in this lineup than I've been with any of my lineups in the previous few weeks. I think the matchups are really good. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to give up a ton of yards and a ton of fantasy points to the Saints. So targeting the Saints offense, whether it's Hill, Olave, Shaheed, I just think that the opportunities are endless in this offense for New Orleans. Here it is, guys. I love this lineup. Once again, one last time. Carr, Jacobs, Mason, Raheed Shaheed, Jennings, Neighbors, Brock Bowers, and Alvin Kamara. So we have Josh Jacobs at 6,700 and Mason at 6,200. So any of these running backs are potentially in play. Derrick Henry is interesting as well. I like Dobbins, who's been absolutely balling out, but Pittsburgh is really good. Their defense is great, so I don't love that. Kenneth Walker is still questionable. I don't like that. So I just think that these guys are the ones to pick right now. I do like DeAndre Swift against Indianapolis. I think the Bears can win that game. The Colts are another team that's very bad against the run. So if you want to, cut one of these guys, say like Jacobs, save some money with Swift, $1,100, and then pay up for a defense, you could do that as well. Defense in that $3,600, $3,700 range. The Raiders versus Carolina is very interesting, right? So you could absolutely do that. So if you go here, you take out Jacobs, you put in DeAndre Swift at 5,600, I think it is. Sorry, and then you go to defense, 3,700. This is a great lineup too, right? So if you think the Eagles offense can somehow be good, which I doubt happens without A.J. Brown, then you got Carr, Swift, Mason, Shaheed, Jennings, Neighbors, Bowers, Kamara, and the Raiders defense, who could have a big week against Andy Dalton because Bryce Young is out. So you got to take that into consideration there as well. This offense is going to be a little bit better with a veteran quarterback like Andy Dalton. We have to see. That's why I just don't believe in this Eagles team right now, man. I think Hurts turns the ball over a lot, and that means fantasy points for the defense. But this is a pretty sure hitter quitter, right? Raiders at home versus Carolina. There's no way they win this game, I don't think. I think the Raiders dominate in every aspect of this game, so their defense is in play for me. So I like this, and I also like flipping the defense with the Saints and going with Josh Jacobs, who's going to be the focal point of this Packers offense once again. And they're going against the Titans, who are not very good in my opinion. They tend to blow games a lot. Their defensive line is pretty good, but I think Josh Jacobs is going to be in play. All right, guys, if you like this lineup, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like, and if you like these kind of Millionaire Maker lineups that I do each and every week, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace.